Hi, this is Paul Slatkus with the Good News Broadcast. Thank you for tuning in to us today. This water being such an important commodity worldwide, it's life-sustaining or life-unsustaining, and we're going to talk about all kinds of concerns, the beauty of water, and today's going to be a very special day. Let me tell you a little bit about what's on today's show. Okay, so we're going to start the show with Beth and I going over some kinds of quotes and some thoughts of water that are quite serious and in general. Then we're going to show a piece of tape from Water for Life, the International Decade of Water that was declared by the United Nations, which is on March 22nd, of which we're leading up actually to that day where we plan to have a major broadcast with many different authorities and celebrities concerned about water and everyday people, which everybody is, and talking about water and the goodness of it and how we can work all together worldwide. So we're going to show a piece of actually Kofi Annan when he was the Secretariat. He has a message about water. And then we're going to have a little piece for children called Splish Splash, which was written by Kofi Annan's wife. Then Claire Diab, who is the founder of the American Yoga Academy and director of the Chopra Centers here, is going to give us a little wave, a way to open up our bodies so the water can flow. And I'm going to attempt to work with her on that. Beth, you should watch when I do that. You can have some nice laughs. But I'm going to try hard. And then Leonardo DiCaprio has a movie that he was involved with the global green community, and who are on Good News Broadcast, and it's called Water Planet. We're going to show that. And then Claudia Baer, 123 Wellness, is going to talk about water. Rich Deffenbach, Partnership for Change, is going to show some of the work that he's done out in India and what people in India are doing, and so it should be a very interesting show. So thank you for joining us. Let me remind you that you can ask a question to the event on our player, as well as chat with each other. And so we will then, after the program, keep this on Good News so you can look at it at any time and share your comments. And in the future, if you have any comments and things that you want to share with us, please do that by sending it to goodnews@goodnewsbroadcast.com. Okay, so let's start now with Beth. Beth, you have a few quotes. Beth made a list of lots of quotes and thoughts here. She's going to read some of those quotes.
You have the quotes. I have the facts. But
let me think about that. Okay.
There's some random facts about water and health. And one interesting one is that a person can live for about a month without food, but only a week without water. And I guess if the human doesn't absorb enough water, dehydration results, obviously. Mm-hmm. So interesting, they could live that long without food, but
without water is
only a week.
Dehydration is probably the big concern how unfortunately most of the real sadness of water occurs because it's dehydration and or the inability to have clean drinking water that actually is the heart of why we're here. Any other facts that are important?
There's lots of them. A person must consume 2 liters of water daily to live healthily. Humans drink an average of 75,000 liters of water throughout their life. And they can't drink salt water, also humans.
Okay, all right. Even though I do know somebody that every day does have a little shot of salt water, and he's 94, and he believes. I think one of the things we want to emphasize here at Good News is that we are doing our best not to be judgmental in regard to anybody and anything and any product, anything regarding water. We by far are not any authority on water. We are just really trying to, have everybody share their thoughts and their facts. So we're not here to say one product is better than another product, one way to live our life is better than another way. We're here to just accumulate the content. I just mentioned a couple other quick things here. The Billion Tree campaign, which is part of the United Nations Environmental Program, is to date has accumulated 157 million tree plantings. Pledges have been recorded. So that's a nice thing. Then you can go to unep.org because trees are part of the ecosystem, and trees need water just like human beings need water. Actually, just like our dog down here, and our doggy needs water. And I have a water thing there, and the firemen, they in the truck there, he needs water, and that car I think needs water, maybe antifreeze. Point down again to our doggy, and so and the flowers, they need water, and the earth has all this salt water, and if anybody has a solution for taking all this salt water and figuring out an inexpensive way to transfer it into regular water, please just physically come down here, like right away, and share this, because we will share it with the world, okay? So if someone has a solution on how to get, I mean, there's desalination, there is ways, but I believe that they're kind of expensive, and we'll be talking to other, over the next couple of weeks, up to March 22nd, experts on water. In fact, there's people that have worked very hard to figure out the water system here in New York, bringing the water from upstate and all over the country as well as the world. So I think we're into a lot of good things here today. So Beth, do you have another fact you want to share with us?
Sure. Also, we should appreciate our water here in New York. And actually, there's a quote that I have over there that maybe we can read later on. Very interesting. But you have to realize that over 2 billion people on Earth don't have a safe supply of water at all. It also regulates the temperature of the human body. And it's an interesting fact. If you've caught a fever, apparently drinking lots of water is good, which I didn't know.
To flush the fever out of you.
Yeah, probably. I guess so. It also removes waste from the body, and you should obviously never drink water straight from a lake, river, as it can be damaging to your health.
So actually the secret here, flushing the body, is quite important, because the importance of food in general is to give you energy and to give your body, and that body is made up mostly of water. But excretion actually is the word, but it's a fact of life that it's so important that your body functions. I think 28 feet of intestines. You have to get the food through your system and out of your system, and that's how a body keeps moving. That's why most of the health food people always are recommending foods that either have some high in fiber, because that fiber, along with the water, flushes your body and your system. And the longer you keep food in your body, you become toxic, and that produces toxins which are not so healthy for you. So water is the key to life. It's the sustenance of life, and so much more makes this important show what it is today. Okay, so I think what we're going to do now is, let me just give a little lead in here for the World Water Day. Coping with water scarcity. This is on the United Nations site here. This year's theme for World Water Day, which is that March 22nd that I mentioned earlier, is coping with water scarcity. Okay, getting back to what you said, Beth, with 2 million people not having...
Billion.
2 billion, right, 2 billion. That's 2 billion out of 6.5-ish billion. So that's a serious number. And we can all do something about this. And hopefully on the 22nd we're going to bring out solutions. It's the concern we all have, the scarcity here, coping with the water scarcity is part of our mission. But let's talk about ways. And I think today you're going to hear more about ways to have better water and what people are doing worldwide. The theme highlights the significance of cooperation and importance of an integrated approach, to water resource management at both international and local levels. Equity and rights, cultural and ethical issues are essential to be addressed when dealing with limited water resources. And I think that's an important thing, is that there is only on this globe, there's only a certain amount of fresh water, and we need to think in a worldly way how to share that water, fresh water, with people, and how we should be collecting water, and how we should do many things like use less water, reduce, reuse, recycle. Imbalances between availability and demand, the degradation of groundwater, that's making groundwater not good, making it polluted, and surface water quality, intersectoral competition, interregional and international disputes, all center around the question of how to cope with scarce water resources. Okay, so why don't we go to Kofi Annan at the United Nations and his thoughts.
Yet many millions of people around the world face water shortages. Many millions of children die every year from waterborne diseases, and drought regularly afflicts some of the world's poorest countries. The world needs to respond much better. We need to increase water efficiency, especially in agriculture. We need to free women and girls from the daily chore of hauling water, often over great distances. We must involve them in decision-making on water management. We need to make sanitation a priority. This is where progress is lagging most. And we must show that water resources need not be a source of conflict. Instead, they can be a catalyst for cooperation. Significant gains have been made, but a major effort is still required. That is why this year marks the beginning of the Water for Life decade. Your goal is to meet the internationally agreed targets for water and sanitation by 2015 and to build the foundation for further progress in the years beyond. This is an urgent matter for human development and human dignity. Together, we can provide safe, clean water to all the world's people. The world's water resources are our lifeline for survival and for sustainable development in the 21st century. Together, we must manage them better.
All right, that was Kofi Annan, great statesman in the worldwide arena. Recently has left the United Nations, and we thank him for all the great work he's done and for sharing the International Decade. If it wasn't for Kofi, I don't think we would have the International Decade of Water. So we're now going to show another piece called Split Splash. It was a children's piece about water done with children, and actually Kofi Annan's wife wrote the music. But here's some real, in a 5-minute shower we use 95 to 190 liters, or 25 to 50 gallons of water in a 5-minute shower. How about that one? Flush the toilet. I mean, let's get right to it. We use 7.5 to 26.5 liters. Remember, good news is worldwide, so we hit you with some liters that I really don't understand too well. But 2 to 7 gallons of water, okay, with flushing the toilet. So maybe when you look at these things, when you brush your teeth, you use 7.5 liters. Maybe you don't have to have the water on so strongly. For the automatic dishwasher, 35 to 45 liters. Saving a bottle of cold water in the fridge is better than taking it from the tap because it saves time and water? Oh, I don't know. Well, in any case, there's lots of different kinds of things that we need to... here's one. Bottled water can be up to 1,000 times more expensive than tap water, and it may not be as safe. Okay, there's a concern there. Baths use less water than a typical shower. Soaking in a partially filled tub will use less water than a short shower. Okay. And let's see here. Groundwater supplies serve about 80% of the population, okay? Whereas up to 4% of the usable groundwater is already polluted, okay? That's not a good news story. Okay, well, she did a lot of hard work here, and it's now paying off. It's unbelievable. See, Beth, I'm using all your hard work, and it's not going unnoticed. That's Beth Geller. Now, if you want to... No. Okay, so to produce one chicken, how about this? We need 44 liters, or 11.6 gallons of water. Okay? That's to produce one chicken. And, you know, there's, as I say, there's lots of people that have lots of thoughts about these kinds of things. You know, the amount of food we eat, the amount of animal that you need to feed an animal. That's a big consumption. That's a major consumption. That's a consumption in food to feed the animal, so we can have the animal for those that are not vegetarian. So there's lots of things to think about. It's a serious issue. It's all around us, and I think everybody should maybe it's up to you, but take a good look at it all, because it's It's a reality, and mainly because water is not always available in so many situations, okay? How about this? It takes 7,000 liters of water to refine 1 barrel of crude oil, okay? All right, there's another thing. You know, I thought synthetics have oil, okay? But we can't have trees. The whole system here. Hippocrates, known as the father of medicine, directed people in Greece to boil and strain water before drinking it. In the 50s, scientists began to suspect that water might carry diseases. Although early treatment of water could make the water safer, it was mainly done to improve the taste, smell, and looks of the water. Okay? Well, how are we doing here? Split Splash ready to... It's available? We're waiting for me. Split Splash, I was taking a bath. Okay, let's go.
Without us, you, him, them, this, and that wouldn't be there.
You see, feel, and use us every single day. But sometimes we wonder if everybody knows how special we are. Because not everyone is nice to us or treats us with respect. And that's not very wise, because when we don't show up, everybody's in big trouble.
Come on, don't be so hard on them. Let's make their day.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath. All about a Saturday night. Woo! Rubbed up, just relaxing in the tub, thinking everything was alright. When I stepped out the tub, I put my feet on the floor. I wrapped the towel around me and I opened the door. And in a splish splash, I jumped back in the bath. Well, how was I to know there was a party going on? There was a splishing and a splash, and reeling with the feel, and moving and a groove, and rocking and a roll.
Okay, this is my lucky day. I'm here with Claire Diab, who is the founder of the American Yoga Academy, of which I go to also, and that's very exciting for me. And she's director of Deepak Chopra's centers on the East Coast and the West Coast, and you teach people how to do yoga. And I know you've been doing this for many, many years, right, Claire?
24 years.
Welcome, Claire. 24 years.
Thank you, Paul.
So you're not just like one of these new yoga places on all around Manhattan that come, it was a little coffee shop and now it's a yoga place and then there's another. You've been doing this for some time.
Yes, I have.
Drinking
water, too.
And drinking water. What interested you to do this 24 years ago? What interests you in yoga?
Well, really it was in 1980 and I was off to college and my mother gave me a yoga book. And that was the major influence in my life as I was failing accounting. I picked the book up and I just couldn't put it down. It was the first book I ever read from front to back. And then that was the beginning of my career. And of course now I have a master's in Asian studies and working on a PhD in higher education. But I took a temporary break and really dived into the yoga, and I'm still with it.
Well, you're a professor also over at Seton?
At Seton Hall University,
Seton Hall, okay.
of Asian Studies.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. All right, and you've been working with Deepak Chopra for
15 years.
15 years.
Deepak is great.
Okay.
Wonderful man.
And you teach people how to teach yoga. This week, we have you here. Because you were in Hawaii. What were you doing in Hawaii?
I was actually doing a Zen and Yoga workshop
in
Kona, Hawaii.
Okay.
Yes, for Marlena and Jeff Lee at their beautiful club. They have the Kona Club, and it's beautiful, so it was a 2-day workshop.
Okay.
It's very nice there.
Well, Claire will be opening up all of our good news broadcasts every time we go on. Eventually, as we go on daily, I want, if it's okay with you, to be on, to start the day, to center ourselves, or what can yoga do for somebody, do you feel?
Well, yoga, is a philosophy that involves so much more than just a pose or a pretzel-like position. It actually is, it involves breathing, movement, relaxation, meditation, and it provides a sense of well-being. It creates the union, yoga means union, of your mind, body, and soul. It brings, one back to the wholeness, the oneness, the feeling of being whole. And when you feel that wholeness, then you begin to feel a union, a yoga with everyone and everything around you. So that's the goal.
Beautiful. And you have a radio program that you're doing?
I do a radio show with Deepak Chopra, Sirius Stars 102 every Saturday. It's from 10 to 1, and I am the pose of the week. So
Excellent. You're the pose of the week.
I'm the pose of the week.
They couldn't have a nicer pose. Okay. So, Claire, when I told you that this show was going to be on water, I said, is there something you can do with water? Being in your class, I should probably have known there are things, but there are so many. There's lots of different salutations, right? There's different things.
Yeah, there's so many different movements that, your body flows fluidly and, simulates the movement of water. And so today we'll be doing a wave motion with our bodies. And it's really important, for we are made up of mostly of water, that we want to keep the water flowing within. And so through movement and keeping the body fluid, the water can flow freely, nourishing and hydrating every single cell, muscle, and bone in the body.
Okay, so let's learn how to do the wave.
So if you're sitting at your desk or your home, sit at the edge of the chair or the couch, and what we want to do is first start with some breathing that's really, really powerful. It's called ocean breathing, and it actually creates the sound of the ocean, and that sound, as we all know, is a very nourishing and healing sound. So it is in and out through the nostrils. Let me just demonstrate so you can listen to what it sounds like. It sounds like this. It's very calming, very soothing, and nourishing to every single cell and to your mind, body, and soul. So to do this breath, to learn it first, what we want to do is, and Paul, please join me in this if you'd like, and everyone else here in the audience, bring your hand up, and as if you have a mirror on your hand, we're going to first breathe in and out through our mouth so we can create the HA sound, the sound of the ocean. And so as if to blow fog on the mirror, exhale out of your mouth the HA sound. And now in through the mouth as if you had a mirror at the back of your throat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Do a few more of these breaths in and out through the mouth. Close your eyes and feel what's happening to your throat as you create this sound, this whispering sound of the ocean. And then go ahead and bring your hands down comfortably in your lap. With your eyes closed, close your mouth and begin this breath in and out through the nostrils. It's as if you were breathing in through the back of the nostrils. Keep going, keep breathing. It's as if you were in a deep sleep just before a snore. Let's do a few more, and as you continue, just take your hands and gently cup your ears and listen to the sound that you're creating with the breath. The sound that sounds like the ocean, that is nourishing to our mind, body, and soul. And then just bring your hands down. Allow your breath to be natural. Keep your eyes closed. Notice how you feel. You should feel relaxed, very calm. And don't worry if you're feeling too relaxed. We'll get you going with the movement. And so open your eyes. All right, so how is that? It's very powerful. That breath is extremely calming and excellent to do first thing in the morning before getting out of bed and at night. And actually, if you wake up in the night and you have a bit of a situation falling back to sleep, just do this breath 10 to 30 times and you'll go right back to sleep like a baby. So now the next thing we'll do with the ocean breath is called the wave motion for the spine. And so what we want to do is just place our hands comfortably on our thighs, just above the knees, and we're going to inhale and lift our face up towards the sky. And then as we exhale, we're going to come forward, allowing the elbows to bend, and then lower your head down And then as you inhale, round back like an ocean wave would go back into the sea. And then inhale, lift up and lift your face up towards the sky like an ocean wave coming up from the sea. And exhale, coming forward and down like an ocean wave comes down onto the shore. Inhaling, rounding back. Exhaling, coming forward. So let's do this 4 or 5 more times, just allowing your spine to be fluid, allowing your body to move freely, simulating the wave in the ocean, honoring and appreciating and respecting the water that is within us and around us. Breathing in as you come up and exhaling as you come forward and down. And just a couple more times. This massages the spine, allows the fluid in the body to flow more freely. Add the ocean breath. And just one more time. Rolling back. And then gently rolling up. With your eyes closed, bring your hands comfortably on your lap, right hand and left thumbs touching, or left hand and right thumbs touching, and sit quietly for a moment. And when we are quiet, we get in touch with our breath, with our mind, body, and soul. And just keep your awareness with the breath, breathing in and out. And just like the ocean waves move in and out from the shore, so too does your breath move in and out from your body. Bringing your hands to your heart, this is hands to heart pose, with your eyes closed, bringing your awareness to the center of your chest, where love and compassion and respect flows to you and from you for yourself and others, and for the planet. Just know that this peaceful, calm feeling is your true nature. And when we stay connected with this, we'll be aware of how to protect ourselves and the planet and others. So with your with the corners of your mouth coming up gently towards your ears, so that will allow you to smile with your eyes, because this is a pleasant experience and a pleasant awareness. Bring your fingertips toward your forehead. Take a bow to your higher self, your spiritual, beautiful, divine essence. And lifting back up, bring your hands to your heart. And take a bow to one another, wishing peace, peace, and happiness. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste means I honor the light in you that's the same in me.
You're marvelous.
Well, thank you.
So solid, so, centered. It really, the one thing I love about when you share your thoughts is that you're so calming. I'm usually very bad at any coordination, and you're just so calming and relaxing and non-judgmental, and it's a pleasure to be doing this with you. So
well, thank you, Paul. I'm honored to be here, and thank you for having me.
Claire, thank you.
Thank you.
So what we're going to do now is go from this very, very pleasant state to actually Leonardo DiCaprio, who has created a movie on a living water planet. I guess it's specifically called Water Planet, with this organization, Global Green, which Mikhail Gorbachev has something to do with, and involvement. And he put together this video, and we're going to show that for a while, and then we're going to bring on some more. Actually, Claudia is going to join us next. So, Claire, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
We live on a water planet. Through the millennia, the water cycle has supported all life. Shaping weather, seasons, and climate, providing habitats for most of the world's living things, and most of them, including us, are almost entirely made up of water. Now consider this. Water is a finite substance, a limited resource. Only a tiny fraction of the Earth's water is fresh. It supports everything from agriculture and sanitation to aquatic ecosystems like rivers and streams. Water falls unevenly across the planet, while much of it is locked up in glaciers, permanent snow cover, ice, and permafrost. Water is also stuck underground, very deep in the earth and hard to reach. To make matters worse, water is being threatened by pollution, overpopulation, climate change, mismanagement, and war. Pollution is so severe that diseases are increasing in both humans and animals. Habitats are being destroyed. Rain is turning into acid. So many chemicals flow into rivers and lakes that the actual composition of water in some places has been fundamentally changed. Human encroachment is also drying out aquifers, diverting the natural flow of rivers and straining water supplies. Hidden in everyday consumption is the careless and unnecessary waste of water. Massive dams displace millions of people and destroy whole ecosystems. Global warming is altering the water cycle, causing more severe and unpredictable flooding and droughts, ultimately shifting where water flows. Unregulated corporate privatization threatens access to water for the poor, while some governments fail to deliver water where it is needed most. These stresses have created political and military conflicts that will only get worse. Ultimately, humanity is poisoning, squandering, and overburdening water resources. The result is that billions of people lack access to clean water. Millions of children die every year from preventable waterborne diseases. The lack of clean water and basic sanitation traps people in poverty. People are fighting and dying for it. We are at a crisis point, but we still have time to turn this around. We can conserve water and not waste it. Invest in smart water infrastructure and technologies. Increase environmental regulations in polluting industries. Tell government leaders to fulfill financial pledges for clean water. Ensure that water is not treated as a commodity. But most important, we must recognize that access to clean water is a basic human right. And the United Nations should adopt a global treaty on the right to water. Water equals life. There is no separation. By protecting water, we can protect ourselves and this blue planet for future generations.
So we're drinking some water, and Claudia Bayer, B-A-Y-R,
Yep.
at 123 Wellness Home, is going to talk to us about her involvement with water. And I think when you and I met, which we've met, previous to this, you were saying how water, to a certain degree, might have saved your life. And so I wanted to share your story. You were kind enough to agree to share that with our audience. And so tell us what the background was on that.
Well, Paul, I really did never like water. I never knew water was important. All I knew that water made me go to the bathroom all the time, so I just never drank water. And actually very early in my age, I was diagnosed with hypertension and high blood pressure, and I ended up in a hospital a couple of times where the nurses said to me, by the by, you're really very dehydrated. But, it kind of went in and went out. When I went into the doctor's office, all he ever did was give me a prescription with, some heavy drugs, chemicals, instead of telling me you must drink more water. So I ignored that fact for a very long time. And only really about 5 years ago, I realized truly how dehydrated I was, and I went for a quest looking for really good water, and I came across living, energized water, and it truly has changed my life. I'm actually, can say I'm off my medication, and I'm feeling so much better and healthier, and have more energy, and my digestive system is really great, and water really gives you 100% energy without any calories. Isn't that great? I feel actually that I used to have a real bad sugar craving, and I don't have that anymore. And I eat much more healthier than before, because what the water does, it just cleanses your body. It brings more oxygen into your cells, and it transports nutrients into your cells, and so it gets all better absorbed. Because that's really what the main function of water ought to be, is it ought to be assimilated in your body in a way that it's most effective to have to create all these body functionings, because we need water for every single function in the body. When we are born with over 70% of water in our tissues, and water is important for body temperature regulation, for bringing more oxygen and into the blood cells and transporting nutrients, and of course to detox ourselves, to get rid of waste in our body. When you are severely dehydrated, it will have an effect on blood pressure, on your circulatory system, on your digestive system, and has an effect on kidney malfunctioning. Even when you go around and you're just mildly dehydrated on a daily basis, you will have headaches, you have constipation, you probably feel a little dizzy, you have backaches, because that's what water does. It cushions the joints in our spine. And if we are dehydrated, a lot of people who suffer of backaches, that's because they are actually not drinking enough water.
So how much water do you drink a day?
Half of my body weight in ounces. I think it is different for people, but that is really just to maintain your water loss, which you lose through sweating and through breathing you lose water, and then through going to the bathroom. That's how we lose our water, and that needs to be maintained.
Wait a second.
Half of your body weight.
I'd be drinking the Hudson River. No, what's the half of your body weight? Wait a second.
Okay,
Did I understand that right?
So
say you weighed 100 pounds. You weigh less.
Okay,
no, much more. Whatever makes you happy. But so if you weighed 100 pounds, you're saying explain.
Half of your body weight. So I have 120. So I drink 60 ounces, half of my body weight. Ounces in water.
Ounces, yeah, ounces. Yeah. 60 ounces of water. Half your body weight, 60 ounces of water, which is. 10, they say 8 glasses of water, or some people say 10, 8 ounce glasses, or 10. Usually every health doctor who has a weight loss program always is recommending to us, as we interview them, the water, start off with 2 glasses of water and blah, blah, so on and so forth.
In the morning it's very important, because you lose water overnight, and so my routine is to get up every morning and have my water and my certain nutrients in the water, with the water, and then I just don't eat for about an hour, and then everything just functions in my body.
And if I recollect some of the doctors saying that it's liquid, it's not necessarily just water, because there's water in all kinds of, in pop and soda, and I don't know if there's question marks. Once again, here, good news. We don't want to be we just bring in the information and share it with the world. So, but liquids. A cup of coffee is water, and tea is water, and there's lots of liquids now.
Yeah, but
give me a little frown on that here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Maybe to a certain extent. But what our body needs is alkaline water, and a lot of coffee is really acidic, And we really, research in Korea and Japan has shown that the most beneficial water for our body is slightly magnetized alkaline water, because it breaks down acidic acid in our body, it brings more oxygen into our body, and it just makes it more alkaline. That's our natural environment. That is how our body was born. And so we want to maintain that. Most health clinics will tell you that premature aging and most chronic diseases or just illnesses have two underlying factors, and that's increased dehydration and acidity. And of course, everything we eat nowadays is very acidic. The processed food we eat, the refined sugars, the oils, the fats, and of course, the toxins we take in from the environment.
Yeah, acidity seems to me logically a concern. Because if, I remember the old litmus test and things like that, and acid, you sort of remember burns things away. So if it's burning things away outside, it's probably burning away things inside, which seems logical to me.
Right. Acidity attracts very unhealthy bacteria in our body, like viruses, parasites, molds, yeast, fungus. I mean, I don't want to even, while when we drink alkaline water, it attracts probiotics. Probiotics are healthy bacteria, and that helps for better absorption of our nutrients. So actually the water is really helping our cells to absorb the nutrients which are getting into our bodies properly. Otherwise we might just we drink and it just goes right through us, because the body is an intelligent it's an entity. I mean, it's got innate intelligence, and it knows what's good for it, and it doesn't like what's not good for it.
Let's take a second here to talk, because I know you brought something here, some piece of equipment that you're a believer in, and once again we're not here to. Good news is here, you can share this kind of concept.
Right.
Once again, I'm sure there's many kinds of concepts. I know there are many kind of concepts of ways to improve water in general. But why don't you share this so our audience has some idea
Well,
what
these
this
are
is.
two components. The first one, that creates clean, living water from tap water. So what you do is you pour 2 gallons of your tap water in. It goes through a 3-stage natural filtration system, which takes all the contaminants down to 1 micron, which is a very high filtration. It adds far infrared, which is the energy from the sun, and it goes through magnets, which is the earth energy, and it picks up minerals from those little stones you see at the bottom there. And what comes out is clean, living water. And what then, the Japanese are very good in simulating nature, but technologically, they created the optimizer, and I just want to show you what it does. It creates a vortex. So now what you do is right. So if you just want to visualize a waterfall, when you go out into mountains, when you have pure water coming from nature, it picks up the energy from the sun, that's the far infrared. It picks up again the magnetic earth energy from those rocks it comes down on, and then it picks up nutrients from the earth. And then because it comes flowing down, it oxygenizes it. So it's like the healthiest water you can drink. So when you optimize that water, what you're drinking is really like what you're meant to be drinking. It comes from nature. Also what it does, it actually restructures water molecules to a perfectly hexagonal shape, which is the same shape as our cells in our bodies. So we can take in that water on a deep cellular level, and it's being assimilated properly. So we get the most benefit from it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's very interesting. So, well, I wanted we wanted to share this with our audience. Thank you, for coming over and letting us know about this. And so we're going to, once again, everybody think about your water overall. think about your own being, think about the world's water being, and we'll keep moving on with different thoughts and realities about water. So thank you very much, Claudia, for coming over.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, we'll have a toast
drink,
there. And we're going to now go to, actually, Rich Diefenbach is with the Partnership for Change, and we're going to show something where a Reverend Raj in India showed his beliefs and his thoughts when the tsunami hit in India, and in essence parted the water so it didn't destroy his parish and his orphanage. So another powerful, this is man and water together, and then Rich is going to come out here and we're going to talk about wells in India and the Ganges River, and it's...
big hue and cry. Then I asked my boys who were there, what is this noise? They said, Father, mass is going on, people are singing. No, I said, no, it is not, there is something else. Then immediately another boy came running and said, Father, the whole sea is boiling and coming up. It is not a wave actually. The first one was not a wave. The whole sea was just boiling and coming up like that. No? When you boil milk, how it comes up, like that. And so fast. So immediately I rushed to the terrace of the presbytery. I was just watching the sea. Remain there. But I said, no, let me remain. And then started praying louder. And by the time some people gathered around me, we all started praying. Miraculously, the water which came with such a force came to the slum and slowly like that it stopped, went inside. Meantime, some of our people came and shouted, Father, take the relic of St. Francis Xavier, go to the sea and pray. Because St. Francis Xavier is known for stopping these disasters. His body is kept incorrupt in Goa. So immediately I took the relic of St. Francis Xavier and rushed to the sea and stood there. That time only big waves started coming. The sea used to recede 1 kilometer inside, and within few seconds big waves come. So 3, 4, 5 waves, but nothing happened. And I am telling you, such a terrible moment this was. People crying all over, and afterwards only we came to know that so many people this side of the church died, and so many lost their homes. On the other side of the church, hundreds and hundreds of people died, and so many thousands of people lost their homes. So it was like crossing of the Red Sea. Water went both sides like this, but this place of St. Thomas in the cathedral was protected.
We're here with Rich Diefenbach. Hello, Rich. How are you?
Hi, I'm from Partnerships for Change.
Good.
And we met Father Raj in India recently, and he was telling us all about how the tsunami came toward the Cathedral of St. Thomas, which is in Chennai, and miraculously he was holding up the relic of St. Francis Xavier, who is the patron saint of disasters, and he believes that's why the water parted and spared the church and the school and actually impacted on the right and the left of the church. Now there's 40,000 fishermen that live in the Chennai region that have been impacted. About 65,000 people in Chennai are still having a difficult time since the tsunami. Even though there were 206 people that died, there's thousands that are still living with poor drinking water and poverty in that area. Many of the children from the slums, over 1,000 of them, are educated by Father Raj at his orphanage right at the cathedral there, and he has been getting money from Partnerships for Change and other organizations to educate these children and feed them. And one other thing that was given to the cathedral is a water treatment facility so that these children can drink clean water and their families can have clean water. And that's a very big concern in India. India is over 1 billion people, 3 times the population of the United States, and they have a severe issue now with clean drinking water. They're going through an industrial revolution like none we've ever seen before. And that's caused all of these issues having to do with the environment and their resources, and most of that has a lot to do with drinking water, and people aren't getting what they need.
Tell us about Partnership for Change.
Partnerships for Change is a nonprofit organization. It's based in San Francisco, and since 1990 they've been going all around the world to provide direct aid to needy people. They've been to Africa, they've been to Burma, they've been to Cambodia, they've made several trips to India. They've helped this center for children in Chennai. They're helping the Bon Secours nuns who are building a women's empowerment center in Senavakam, which is helping the untouchables of the Dalit women that would normally either be enslaved or have no skills, no language, no ability to get out of the village. Many of them are murdered because they become prostitutes. They've provided this center, this oasis of hope for these women. And now when we look at this little clip of Sister Antonio Mal, it shows us how in her village where she has this water treatment plant, Sister Antonio Mal has developed this well, and they've built this well in India to provide that support to the Women's Empowerment Center that they're building, and it's also providing support to the village that is right there in Senavakam. But you'll see Sister Antonio Mal, we spent time with her at the groundbreaking of the Women's Empowerment Center in Senavakam, and this teaches women how to sew, embroider, make garments, and it's extraordinary. This is the well here, and you see here this is the well water is being pumped up all the way up to the housing there, which will be for the Women's Empowerment Center there, and also there's a school up in that area. The village will also be supported by this well here. As you can see, it's much more water than they need for that one center, but it's providing that kind of nourishment, and Partnerships for Change is providing that support to her. She's an extraordinary woman. I mean, she is in charge of over 200 nuns. She has 3 provinces that she manages. She's got a very large responsibility, and her vision is to stop the poverty, to help the children, to help these women find a better life. And it's quite extraordinary what she's done to make this happen. She's incredibly motivated, tireless energy, and she has gotten a lot of support from Partnerships for Change. She keeps telling you every time you meet her about another new vision that she has about creating a secretarial school for these women, and they're all very receptive to it. They really dedicate themselves, and it's a very good investment because they do bring so much good to their area.
Great, and you're bringing so much good to our area of the whole wide world. You personally, how did you get involved with this organization?
Well, I am an old news person. I worked at CBS and ABC and Fox News Channel for many years, and I decided that I wanted to do some good works across the globe, and I met Jacqueline Miller, who wrote a book called Heart at Work back in the 1990s. She wrote it with Jack Canfield, and Partnerships for Change is a tremendous organization that has done these good works and shows how the power of one is really making a difference in the world. And we have another clip here I wanted to show you briefly about the Ganges. This is an area that we went to in the northern part of India. It's near Rishikesh. We're actually walking over the Ganges River here, and this Ganges River is over 1,500 miles long, and it goes from the north to south to India, over around Bangladesh and down. It is fairly clean up in this area of India, but the Ganges is a sacred river. And it looks clean there, but in the south where they have the Kumbh Maya celebrations down near Varanasi, the water is toxic. Kids drink this, adults drink this, they think it's sacred, it's healthy, that'll help them, but it doesn't, it actually hurts them. And it's unfortunate that they have not been able to clean up the water so that it is healthy for these children yet. But this is a sacred river that people swim in it. They bury their dead in it. They They drink it. They dump sewage in it, and it's just part of the problem that they have with water in India. And they're trying to sort that out and make it better, but they're a long way away from it. And as the country continues to have this industrial boom, there's a lot of pollution, a lot of problems with water, and this is just one example here. But Partnerships for Change has been in Africa, and they've been able to help give money to help these people get clean drinking water, because they're finding out that most of the diseases are coming from unclean water, and people are dying from that more than they are from any of the major diseases that you hear about in Africa and in India. But what I thought when I decided to become part of Partnerships for Change was that there was some greater good out there that needed to be done. There was something that I could do in documenting these examples and get the awareness out there. I have now been to speak to several high schools. I've been also to a middle school in Armonk. It's called H.C. Crittenden School. And they did the Power of One Day. They had Kerry Kennedy talking about human rights. I was talking about India and the Power of One, and also what Partnerships for Change is doing there. And young people need to be galvanized now, because this is their future. I mean, these were sixth graders I was talking to, but you wouldn't believe how motivated they were to do good things. And they really want to see sustained positive change happen in the world. It's one thing having a Kumbaya day and being excited about that, but then to maintain that sustained change, to keep on it and to make that change happen and keep getting better and better is an enormous effort on everyone's part.
Well, we're so excited that you're here, and overall that there are thousands, if not millions and millions and millions of people that are doing good in this world. Some of the people who you mentioned were partners with Chicken Soup for the Soul. We know Jack Canfield, Caroline Kennedy's on Good News. So many people are doing good in the world, and I'm a former CBS and network guy.
We probably worked with each other one time.
And the networks do great work too.
Yes.
And we all need to acknowledge that they take on some of the more difficult situations, and sometimes they don't have enough time to deal with solutions in a news broadcast. And so in essence, I think they know, just like we all know, that we're all in it together. And the thing here is sometimes we even say we're stressed out because there's so much good news in the world. But it's true. It's true. How many people are doing good? It's a beautiful thing.
You can't have too much good news.
Right.
And I know that in the past day or so, there's been a lot of news out there about Anna Nicole Smith, and that's been eclipsing a lot of the airwaves now. But there's also a lot of really great stories that need to be told as well, and this is just part of it. This one little snapshot of India and what Partnerships for Change is doing. I want to show this one last clip we did of this is also Rishikesh. This is where they, this little stand here, if you will, like a lemonade stand it would be, but to them they actually press sugarcane here, and they make sugarcane water. Now, to most people, oh, this looks great, I'll have to try it. In America, we take everything for granted, that the water's good, that we can have it any time, wherever we go. But it's very suspect and dangerous to drink anything that's given to you. You'll see here he presses the sugarcane, and it comes out, but the water's probably taken right from the spigot, from the Ganges, which is filthy. And he's then, the sugar cane's put in there and it's put into a glass. But I will tell you that, the assumption about water, you cannot take it for granted like you do in the United States. You have to be careful about everything that you drink. And one of the things that, I got very sick when I was in India on this trip. And I believe it was because I just tasted tasted a little drop of water. It wasn't anything big, but it did cause me to get ill, and I just would strongly emphasize to anybody who is going to another country that they can't make that assumption about water, that it's going to be healthy.
Yeah.
But I like what Partnerships for Change is doing. I think they're doing very good works. I know that most of the money that is collected goes directly to the source, and you know where it's going. It's not caught up in some big bureaucracy. It's getting right to the people that need it. And they've raised millions of dollars for these people, and we're now going to sell wristbands that say, love, strong, and fearless. And the high schools are going to start selling these. I know they're going to start selling them down in the Baltimore area, and they're going to be selling them up in New York at the high schools. And it's a wonderful opportunity to raise money that will go directly to these people who are in need. These children that are orphaned or have no good homes, and they need education, nourishment, and support. And one last trip that we did go to up in the northern part of India is that we did visit a monk who is saving orphans from the Himalayas. They're malnourished, they have no education, and they come all the way down from the mountains, and then they are given a home. And then later on, after they've become very healthy and educated, they go back and they show the townspeople that they're doing well. And that's another one of the projects Partnerships for Change is involved in.
Great. Well, obviously you guys are doing great work and important work, and we're very fortunate for that to be. Continue it, and we'll send people over to your website, and once you save one person, you're saving the world. So
thank you. It's partnershipsforchange.com. Thank you.
There you go. He's definitely dedicated on that. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week of our water special. We plan next Friday to do a live broadcast. I'm sure we will include water as part of that, or possibly make the whole broadcast water-based. Once again, this issue, we're getting so much response on water and what people are doing in a very good, positive way worldwide. So we're looking at the big picture, the management of the planet Earth. These are great endeavors that so many people are connected to, and the more we learn how to manage it all together, I'm sure the better off that the world will be. And unfortunately, sometimes it's poverty. This is part of the United Nations millennium, where 2015 they're looking to curb poverty worldwide, because when you curb poverty, then you do have a better opportunity for better drinking water and better health conditions and so on. So next week we will continue Friday live broadcast. Thank you for tuning in to Good News, and if you have some, please share it with us, and have a great week. Thank you.